So for the heating and air conditioning business package, we live in the northern hemisphere. We live in a country that's filled with really hot deserts, really cold northern climates. I don't think there's any place in the United States that does not either require heat or require air conditioning almost all year round.
Oh yeah. No, I 100% agree. I mean, it's one of those things that, it's fundamental to a good quality of life. You gotta heat in the winter, you gotta cool in the summer, and sometimes, a little bit of both other seasons. So, and I think what's really great about this particular model is that with subscriptions, I mean, these systems are service intensive. I mean, you got to have your vents cleaned and your ducts cleaned, you got to have filters replaced, you have to have things calibrated to make sure that they're still working. And I think that for HVAC companies, there tends to be dips during certain times of the year and increased volumes other times. And with this, the homeowner gets the stability that they want in terms of the service. They don't have to worry about it's off their radar. And then for the business owner, they're getting consistent cash flow, which is definitely one of the challenges.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And my wife's got some family that owns an HVAC company, and they built it from scratch. Obviously before the subscription era came about. And it was a really, really, really hard business to build because of what you just said. And I know as a consumer of these services, I don't know why they don't. I've had my vents cleaned before, and there's a ton of gross stuff that comes out of your vents. It's kind of scary. You're going, I was breathing that stuff. That stuff was blowing in my face while I slept. That's gross, and that's unhealthy. And it could probably kill you. And so, when you see the stuff that comes out of your vents, or in this case, when you're the owner of this business package and you show your client the stuff that comes out of these vents, and you say, for this low price of whatever price you're going to charge, we can get you where you don't have this inflated bill, and we'll come by, every 90 days, every quarter, every 6 months, whatever the size of the house or the size of the system necessitates. And we will clean this out for you so this never happens again. As a consumer, I'm going to go, where do I sign up?
Oh, definitely. The other benefit of that regular maintenance and that subscription system is that air handlers and these mechanical components, they fail when they're not maintained. And so the homeowner is ultimately absorbing greater cost in not having routine maintenance. So they're reaping the benefits of not having to worry about it, extending the life of their equipment. And this puts the business owner in a very good position as far as when those systems do fail, who are they going to call? They're going to call the company that already does all the maintenance.
Yeah.
And so now you're installing a new heat pump, you're putting in a new air handler. And we all know there's major margin to be had in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, obviously, this is one of the unique ready to launch business packages to where this is one of the licensed trades. Most states, you got to be licensed. You certainly need to know what you're doing through, training, either some kind of technical training or maybe it was on the job training. And most states require a license to do this. But taking the ready to launch startup series that teaches you how to put the framework of your company in place. It teaches you how to, once you have that framework, start filling everything in with how to have a business, how to grow a business, how to find your customers, how to get them to sign up. I mean, just how to hire employees if you get to that point and you want to do that. Then, having all these things at your fingertips to drastically increase the odds that your business is going to be successful, along with all the infrastructure. And that's the hard thing for, I think, a lot of business owners is like, what developer do I use? Over our years in business, we have put together this network of people. We've got people that just do business logos. We've got people that just do websites. We've got people that just proofread and edit the stuff that's going to be on your website so there's no grammatical errors. We've got these different individuals that span across the spectrum of what you need to successfully operate a business. And we engage with them on a scale that makes each project affordable. When you're going to hire a service and it's a one-off service, it's typically pretty expensive. With the volume of business that we put through all these people, They give us such deep discounts. We're passing those on. That's why these business packages are so affordable, is because of the volume of business that we're doing with all these professionals. So you compile all that in, and now you've got the infrastructure to make your business go, and you've got the knowledge to make your business go. It's a win-win for everybody. Plus, you don't have any franchise rules to follow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I know in HVAC, franchises are challenging. I mean, they can create brand limitations. They force you to funnel profits. So this gives that flexibility that any business owner is going to want. And the other nice thing about this is really HVAC systems, the more modern systems, are actually more maintenance intensive. So as time goes on and these systems are more acutely designed, this demand is going to increase.
Now, you've worked under our business methodology. Tell me how our way of doing things has impacted your life.
Well, it's improved my life in many different ways. I've learned to, operate in business more efficiently, more strategically, with a greater focus on win-win outcomes, where the business is profiting, but the, clients and customers are happy. So it's been a very enriching process, and I've learned a lot from you guys. You guys have that entrepreneurial spirit that just makes for good business, and so it's been just an absolute pleasure working with you guys.
And now, what about financially? How would you say your situation is different?
Well, it's been enormously personally rewarding, financially rewarding. We've been able to do things we never imagined being able to do just a few years before. Your unique approach to business has enabled us to, be more profitable than our competitors. We've had a better work-life balance, I think, than most people who, even get close to approaching our income threshold. So I think really, as rewarding as something could be, it has been for us.
Now, do you feel like our way of doing things has profitability advantages over traditional ways of doing business?
Oh, most certainly. Yeah. I think you can, tell just by our history of growth. We, I think, are willing to adapt our business strategies, fill any niche role that's out there, and just, capitalize on things that other businesses aren't even aware of. So, yeah, I think we, have had a much greater level of success than our competitors with more profitability and oftentimes less busy work.
Yeah, certainly. And I think too, with the startup series goes over all sorts of that kind of stuff. And just the ways that we've been luckily forced to adapt and learn how to do things with less staff and, more technology based or more efficiency based, just really picking things apart down to the typing of emails or not. Stuff like that makes a huge difference, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Breaking things down to their kind of constituent components, seeing what you absolutely have to have, what's not necessary, and then putting your energy behind what drives, maximum productivity and profitability. And I think that's been where we've had a lot of our success.
Now, Justin, what would you say to someone who is thinking about buying one of these business packages, but is maybe nervous about starting a business from scratch instead of going with a more expensive traditional franchise, or maybe nervous about something else with starting a business?
Well, I would say that, now is a very good time, I think, for someone to look at starting their own business. And I think, when you're weighing these options, say in comparison to a more expensive franchise, I think the flexibility that's afforded because you still own and have control of your own business, I think
Absolutely.
that's huge. I think that's why a lot of people start a business. They don't want to have to report to someone and curtail their goal and operations based on the direction of somebody else. So I think you get all of those benefits. But I think the other thing that's, a major advantage is that it is lower cost. You're not paying a percentage of your income for an indefinite period. You just have the ability to take a proven model, to adapt it to your specific situation, to be given all the tools to implement your strategy and your goals and to achieve it. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. As an entrepreneur myself, obviously, that started several businesses, when I look back over what worked really well and what did not work really well, it's the unknowns that are waiting out there to just, grab you by the foot and trip you up. And that's really what I think makes businesses fail. I think that there's probably two major things that make businesses fail. Number one is not knowing a system and process that's proven for success, which it takes a while to get there. And then number two is just these pitfalls that every single entrepreneur will face at some point in time or another. And having the startup series as a guide to continually reference back to me, makes all the difference in the world, compared to somebody that does not have that resource. And business consultants are really, really, really expensive. It's a good way to, especially when you're in the startup phases, that's a good way to really drain profitability, is having to call somebody and pay them by the hour every time you have a question, rather than just referencing a resource that you've got on your computer.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, you're getting basically a veteran business model that works.
Yeah.
And you're able to use that from the get-go. So, I mean, it's like, taking the Microsoft model when you're starting a software company. It's as good a start as you could have.
Well, Justin, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you joining me here and going over these business packages. And, for you guys there thinking about this, you can submit on our website or you can give us a call at 844-500-6620 and speak with a business launching consultant. Again, that's 844-500-6620. Thanks so much.